Welcome back to Crood with a book where today we bridge the gap between the relentless ticking of the clock and the profound weight of the opportune moment. We dissect how high performers shift from measuring minutes to seizing qualitative breakthroughs. By integrating these ancient rhythms, we transform frantic schedules into intentional mastery, ensuring every action aligns with deep, meaningful purpose. Have you ever finished a long day, looked at your to-do list, and realized you were busy the entire time, but somehow nothing truly important moved forward? That feeling is becoming incredibly common in our digital world. We have faster tools, smarter automation, even AI scheduling our lives, and yet many of us feel more behind than ever. Today on Crood with a book, we're exploring a powerful idea about time that might completely change how you approach work, creativity, and life. It's the difference between Chronos and Kairos. And understanding this difference might be the key to escaping what researchers are starting to call the efficiency trap. The contrarian reality: you are not running out of time. You are simply using the wrong clock. While the world obsesses over the relentless ticking of Chronos, high performers have mastered a secret ancient rhythm called Kairos. Stop measuring your life in minutes and start seizing the qualitative breakthroughs that actually define true success and mastery. Most people are trapped in the efficiency trap, perfecting the art of being busy while missing the moments that actually matter. There is a profound difference between the quantity of your hours and the quality of your impact. Discover how integrating Chronos and Kairos allows you to align every action with deep purpose. Part 1. The efficiency trap of modern time. Let's start with something fascinating about the world we live in. In 2026, we have access to tools that previous generations could only imagine. Automation tools schedule meetings. Algorithms organize our calendars. And yet surveys on workplace productivity show a strange paradox. Despite all this efficiency, people report feeling constantly behind. Why? Because modern productivity culture is built almost entirely around one idea of time. The ancient Greeks called it Chronos. Chronos is measurable time. Seconds, minutes, deadlines. It's the ticking clock on your phone. Chronos is extremely useful. Without it, society wouldn't function. But Chronos has a hidden psychological effect. It turns life into a race against an expanding list of tasks. Every email creates another email. Every meeting creates another meeting. The list never ends. And this creates something researchers in productivity psychology call the infinite to-do loop. You feel productive, but you're actually just processing activity, not creating meaningful progress. This is where a strange disconnect appears. You can feel extremely busy while remaining completely stagnant. And that's the moment when many high performers realize something important. Maybe the problem isn't effort. Maybe the problem is how we think about time itself. Part 2. The anatomy of the opportune moment. Thousands of years ago, the Greeks actually had another word for time, a very different one. They called it Kairos. Kairos doesn't measure time. It describes the right moment, the moment when action suddenly becomes powerful. Think about moments like when an idea finally clicks, when a conversation changes your perspective, when creativity suddenly flows effortlessly. Psychologists today often associate these moments with flow states, a concept popularized by the psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. During flow states, your brain enters a condition where focus deepens, distractions disappear, creativity accelerates, and interestingly, time feels different. Minutes can feel like seconds, or hours can pass unnoticed. This is what a Kairos moment often feels like. Not scheduled, not forced, but perfectly aligned. And when you look at many breakthroughs in science, art, and business, they rarely happen because someone worked faster. They happen because someone recognized the right moment to act. So the shift here is subtle but powerful. Instead of viewing time as something to spend, you begin viewing it as something to capture. A window of opportunity. Part 3. The high performer shift. Now, here's something fascinating happening among modern high performers. Contrary to popular belief, many leaders today aren't using AI to pack more tasks into their day. They're using it to do the opposite. They're clearing space. Companies like Microsoft, Google, and other tech-driven organizations have started experimenting with AI-assisted scheduling systems. But the most effective leaders aren't using them to fill every hour. They're using them to protect certain hours, because they understand something critical. Not all work is equal. Some tasks require chronos speed, quick replies, routine operations, administrative actions, but a very small percentage of work, often less than 5%, requires kairos depth. These are the moments when strategies are formed, ideas are born, breakthroughs happen, and here's where a problem appears. Data often pushes us to move faster, but intuition sometimes tells us to wait. This creates what some researchers call the intuition gap. The market data says launch now, but experience says wait for the perfect timing. History is full of examples where waiting for the right moment changed everything. Innovation isn't always about speed. Sometimes it's about timing. Part 4, Practical Rituals for Intentional Mastery. So how do we actually apply this idea? How do we live in a world driven by chronos while still capturing kairos? Researchers and productivity experts suggest a few practical strategies. One of them is something called the buffer strategy. Instead of scheduling every minute of your day, you intentionally leave small open spaces. 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there. These buffers allow your brain to breathe. And interestingly, many creative insights emerge during these unscheduled gaps. Another practice is called time auditing. Most people evaluate their day based on how many hours they worked. But a more powerful question is, what impact did those hours create? Instead of labeling time by quantity, you label it by quality. Deep work, strategic thinking, creative exploration. Finally, there's something neuroscientists often recommend: a daily transition ritual. A simple practice that shifts your mind from the frantic rhythm of chronos into the deeper awareness of kairos. This might be a short walk, journaling, reading, or even quiet reflection. The goal is simple: to remind your brain that not every moment should feel rushed. Part 5, Sustaining Purpose in a Chronos World. The real power of understanding chronos and kairos appears over the long term. Chronos helps us execute, but kairos helps us align. It helps us recognize when to act, when to pause, when to pivot. People who master both rhythms tend to avoid one of the biggest modern problems: burnout. Because their lives aren't just filled with activity, they're filled with meaningful timing. And over years, that difference becomes enormous. Progress stops feeling frantic. It starts feeling intentional. Conclusion: strong retention ending. So here's a small experiment you can try this week. Pick one area of your life where you normally rush. Maybe it's decision-making. Maybe it's creativity. Maybe it's an important project. And instead of pushing harder against the clock, pause. Ask yourself one question: am I chasing the minute, or am I waiting for the moment? Because sometimes the most powerful progress in life doesn't come from moving faster. It comes from recognizing when the moment is right, and learning to act when that window opens. If you enjoy exploring ideas like this about time, thinking, and human potential, make sure you subscribe to Crood with a book. Because sometimes a single idea from a book can completely change the way we see the world.